Hello guys, today we'll be covering the battle you guys kinda asked for on my community post and you guys voted for it, and it is Godzilla from Lizardking Godzilla, or my comic series Godzilla, whatever you want to call him, versus Godzilla versus Eva Godzilla. Godzilla versus Eva Godzilla will be in base form, and so will Lizardking Godzilla. So basically that means you'll only be able to do base form, no other stages, because if Eva Godzilla goes into thermal, well, that's, that's over. And we're not going to let LK Godzilla, which I will just be calling him for short, go into his thermal stage either, even though it's much weaker, and also his other supercharged stages. He'll just be a base. So, the first thing we want to do is cover their feats. And feats we will cover. So for LK Godzilla, let's go over him first. LK Godzilla, in his first installment in Godzilla King of the Monsters, tanked a nuke easily. That was in his 2014 form, actually. You will see his 2014 form after the series ends, like when we go back into like Godzilla Origins or whatever. But his 2014 form, that was 354 feet tall and 355 feet tall, tanked a nuke, point blank nuke. This nuke is made to kill kaiju, or monsters, and the nuke actually kills a monster that is in similar length to Godzilla when he did his 2014 stage, which is at least 800 feet long. It looks to be more of a serpentine with more armor. Kind of has something similar to T-Mat's design, but not similar. This kaiju dies, but Godzilla actually tanks a nuke, and, well, he gets stronger. He actually grows to his 2019 form, and thus he tanks a barrage of military attacks, and he does bleed when it hits his gills. That is a notable weak spot, but it'll not to bother him in the long run. So, one of his big feats is fighting Ghidorah, who he was able to hurt with an atomic breath, make him bleed, and also able to overpower him and throw him occasionally. There's at least one time. He's also able to stop one of Ghidorah's heads and beam lock with him. But he was actually killed by Ghidorah when he fired the gravity beam through his gills. But any other way, he's actually just tanking the gravity beams. And I would go into thermal scaling, but, well, we're not using that form. Now in Godzilla vs. Shin Godzilla, we fight Shin Godzilla, who is, well, Shin Godzilla. A much stronger one than the, obviously, movie Shin Godzilla, but that one was weaker. He tanks one of Shin Godzilla's beams and physically overpowers him, and able to also tank Ghidorah's attacks and actually behead him with an atomic breath, which his old atomic breath was not even able to do anything to Ghidorah. That's a power increase. He's also able to fight Slattern, a much more powerful version of him, and able to damage him and tank the tail spikes. But the most major thing he took was taking multiple beams, the tail beam, back beam, and mouth beam, or it's either mouth beam and just tail beam version, and taking multiple laser attacks. That is a major feat for him. Now, Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. Godzilla is able to, well, not really win against Space Godzilla, but fight against him, and this also goes into a durability feat. Space Godzilla, which is made out of multiple characters, part Ghidorah, Godzilla, Biolante, not Biolante, Shin Godzilla, and some other characters. Space Godzilla, or one Godzilla and Ghidorah cell, is able to tank a black hole. It doesn't just tank it, it mutates into the next form. And if you know this, that means Shin Godzilla has black hole level durability because his cell took it, and so did Ghidorah. And any other parts mix it with it. Now, already going off that, we can put that Godzilla, his cells have black hole level durability. Space Godzilla is able to make Godzilla bleed and actually stab him, which is a feat for Godzilla. He tanks one of Space Godzilla's stabs through the chest. which just knocks him out for a second, but he gets right back up after space leaves. He's also able to go into the Hollow Earth, which has the same, well, I don't know how you say it, but the same thing as the Hollow Earth from the Monsterverse. It's like going into a gravitational version, like a black hole. And he's able to empower himself with radiation down there. He was able to fire his atomic breath at Space Godzilla in the face, stunning him, and also tank his own explosion from a beam clash with Space Godzilla. Able to tank Space Godzilla's atomic breath. And he's able to use an atomic pulse. That didn't do much, but well, it was blocked by a crush field. War of the Monsters Godzilla is where things got really crazy in his feats. He kind of, well, he destroyed multiple planets with ease. He loaded up his atomic breath and fired it in the air. He destroyed the UFO, which had a force field before it, and which was only destroyed by a nuke inside of it with ease. And then, judging just how fast it goes, it's definitely above light speed because it hits multiple planets. This is happening in real time. And it just goes right through them, blowing them up, planet by planet. And it does occasionally, since it would hit stars and also explode them in other cosmic bodies. But we do mostly see the planet things, destroys them. He's also able to burr a hole into the Greeniverse, which is a massive, massive planet. Which is basically like, it looks like a gas giant or something like Saturn from space, but it's like the size of your average multiverse. It's either the size of a multiverse or the size of Saturn. It's weird because I originally would have it the size of a multiverse when I was talking about this with my friends when I first decided making this stuff. But if we go with that, then he's burrowing all the way to the core just to get to Mechagodzilla. He's actually able to tank Mechagodzilla's beam to Mechagodzilla. Might not be more powerful, but was fighting a Godzilla who was firing his beams and already overused it. And he was just able to tank an onslaught, also able to tank his own atomic breath after getting punched and zapped. So Godzilla, now he's way more powerful. I mean, he absolutely destroys Space Godzilla, easily blasts a hole through. And the same Space Godzilla that he was barely able to graze in his other fights. And later, he actually acquires regeneration after he gets stabbed by one of Space Godzilla's crystals right in the chest, which incapacitates him for a second. And he's actually able to heal it. He tanks his own atomic breath multiple times. When Godzilla beams Space Godzilla and it goes into a portal. And well, Godzilla tanks his own atomic breath. It hits him and he falls and he just gets right back up. Also able to endure attacks from space and from another giant kaiju. He's able to two or three shot another kaiju. That was able to slap Space Godzilla to the ground. Now Godzilla vs. Gigan. He's able to fight Gigan. And he might not get Gigan strong, but Gigan's lasers are easily able to incinerate buildings. I ain't cut right through them. Godzilla's atomic breath is able to push back and also stalemate Gigan's beam and cause an explosion. And when he kills Gigan, he fires it through his mouth. Godzilla didn't really have a hard time with Gigan, as they were most likely equals in this fight. Godzilla also gets cut by Gigan a lot and sliced by the chainsaws, the tail, and by the beam, but Godzilla acquires instant healing. His healing is so good that it's able to heal right after the attack. Also, his atomic breath is really powerful. And if he's angered, like what happened to Junior, I'm not going to spoil it, his atomic breath, before going to the yellow atomic breath, he's able to fire supercharged, more powerful atomic breath. But in all, Godzilla is extremely powerful. He should scale either to large planet, to star level, to multiversal. He uses the Greeniverse size. And scale to multiversal because it's either size of Saturn or it's just not an actual average multiverse. Now, Godzilla vs. Eva. He fought the Eva01 and the other Evas 0 and 2. He was actually able to. He got jumped by Eva 0 and 2. By Eva 0 and 2 and was actually able to manage to beat them after being overwhelmed. Remember, these are like around the same size as 0-1. And able to easily kill them, able to keep up with Eva01, who is definitely planetary level in this. And able to endure getting stabbed, cut, and also punched. Took the shot from Eva01. One shot Pacific Rim Kaiju Strike Thorn. And just was able to fight with the Evas. His reaction speed was fast in this, and also able just to react to what the Evas were throwing. And definitely can react to this stuff. His atomic breath is extremely powerful. It's like when he beams it at the Eva, it's more like a very powerful water hose or fire hose. Because it pushes you back, but if you get hit in the right spot, it can like cut right through you like it did to Strike Thorn, Eva 0, and the other ones. But what the beam is really good at is when it hits the AT field. It made a massive explosion. The Eva, he was able to get the Eva on the ground. And remember, this is from Evangelion, so you can use all that scaling for how strong she is, or it is. Now, going to the first category, strength. Who is stronger? Base Eva Godzilla doesn't really fight anyone as heavy as, well, LK Godzilla, but he is able to really throw them around and, well, easily able to do that. Eva01 weighs around, which I'm looking for it. Eva01 is at least it doesn't say, but I'm guessing 20,000 tons, and it should be around 20,000 tons. It's actually 700 to 96,000 metric tons, so it's not that heavy. But this is fighting against Godzilla's fighting against the same Ghidorah, who has the same weight statistics as Monster vs. Godzilla. I mean Ghidorah. He was able to throw him around and actually handle him. He's also able to pick up Space Godzilla, who is actually 77,000 tons. 77,000 tons, which is really light for another Godzilla. But able to casually block him. Also with Gigan, who is around 90,000 tons. And this is also able to go against Shin Godzilla and go around, who actually weighs more than Godzilla, slightly more. And he's just able to show better strength feats and like pushing back, throwing, punching, and doing that. So strength, surprisingly, actually goes to LK Godzilla. Speed. Who is faster? Well, this one really depends because they both have the same speed as Monster vs. Godzilla. They're both a Monster vs. Godzilla and both have the same speed as him. Their speed is basically exactly the same. So, this one's a tie. Durability. Who tanks more? Well, there is one thing I can get to Eva Godzilla. He tanks his own thermal attack. And actually, when the Eva and Thermal fire their pulses at each other, Godzilla, and all the Godzillaverse, almost all of it, it's basically destroyed at this point. And now, which is Godzillaverse consists of a hyperverse, consists of a universe, multiverse, hyperverse, outerverse, an omniverse, and a void. It destroyed everything up to the I believe the hyperverse, destroyed the hyperverse, and probably the omniverse. He's able to tank this attack, and he's actually in base form when it happens. He ends up being back in base form. Even though Godzilla, which gives him hyperversal or omniversal durability, but I'm gonna go with hyperversal. Even though Godzilla does take its own multi-planetary large star to multiversal busting beam multiple times over, Eva Godzilla just takes durability. This is one of his best categories. Regeneration. Eva Godzilla has not been shown regeneration, but LK Godzilla has been shown to rapidly heal in his newer appearances. Like, rapidly. So I'm just going to have to give him that. Abilities, LK Godzilla has basically the same abilities as Monster vs. Godzilla. And yeah, he has an atomic pulse, we've seen it. They both do. But the one thing he has more is accelerate regen. And Eva Godzilla does have the ability to transform thermal at will without needing the sacrifice or more energy. But I would say slightly Eva Godzilla might have less abilities, but he does have the ability to transform in forms at will. I'm actually going to give abilities to Eva Godzilla. Now we're tied 3-3. Now we have stamina. Who can fight better? We've seen LK Godzilla get tired, especially in the fight with Mechagodzilla. After being saved by the Greenies who were in Jet Jaguar, who were in Gypsy Danger, we see an image of Godzilla on the ground gasping for air. Not gasping, but like looking exhausted. And you also see Godzilla and Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla after getting stabbed, looking tired. And in the end of the fight with Space, he gets pushed back into the building by Space's multi-beam, and that makes him also kind of tired as he falls back. This Godzilla is shown to be tired and gets tired during the fight. Eva Godzilla really hasn't shown that. Point to Eva Godzilla. Power. Well, we've always. This is not really that difficult. Eva Godzilla easily takes this one. Agility. Who's more agile? I think it's. Well, LK Godzilla. He has been shown to run and dodge beams, like occasionally. Same with Eva Godzilla, but Eva Godzilla doesn't really show much agility. LK does show more. I mean, he's able to box with Space, who is really fast, and actually able to move around and maneuver around Ghidorah. I have to give the agility to LK. Now, they're going to run into a problem that Eva Godzilla only has one film, while LK has 6 comics, which makes this fight kind of hard. IQ. Who's smarter? Eva Godzilla is an extremely smart fighter and knows someone's weakness. He's actually able to get out of a scuffle with 2 people who jumped him. Able to easily beat them, knowing when to use his tools. He knew when the Eva knocked him over on his back and was repeatedly stabbing. He knew that his atomic breath wouldn't get him off, but he had to use the atomic pulse. And basically seems intelligent as Monster vs. Godzilla. He knew that he'd have to transform the match with the new form of the Eva. And with that, that's what we can do. Now, LK Godzilla is able to show emotion, able to see, and basically like perceive what's going on, feel pain when his son dies. And Godzilla vs. Gigan also able to figure out ways to win fights and team up with people. He's very smart. He's also able to figure out his opponent's weaknesses and actually work really well together with his other opponents. He's able to sense threats. I feel like Eva Godzilla has just shown more intelligence, I'll give you that. Now we get to our next category, which is Battle IQ. Giving it to LK, he has more films and fought more monsters. He knows better how to fight. Experience, LK Godzilla again, he has just fought more monsters and has a longer series. Has just done more. We have combat. Who has better combat? Eva Godzilla is shown to have fighting techniques like Komodo Dragon or a bear, likes to wrestle and like just get up close. Well, we do see LK Godzilla actually use punches. He can punch. Eva Godzilla barely uses his tail, while LK Godzilla does use his tail a lot. Combat should go to LK, and so should skill. Atomic power. Whose breath is better? LK Godzilla has an atomic breath that is able to push back and make explosions. It is very powerful. It can severely burn Raiju, who is his brother. Oh no, Lord Drop, another Godzilla who he fights in War of the Monsters actually at the beginning. Able to severely burn him, even though he wasn't trying to kill him, it can burn. He's able to burn Space Godzilla's face with his supercharged atomic breath, which we're not using, or a spiral ray, with a beam. His beam is also able to cut through stuff and easily blow up mountains. I mean, when he beat him out and teaching Junior how to fire the atomic breath better, it blew right a hole into a mountain, like went right through it. Well, we have Eva Godzilla, who, even though it doesn't really show a lot, even though it's kind of blocked by the AT field, is very powerful. Able to one-shot kaiju like Strike Thorn, who was obviously more powerful than his Pacific Rim self, and was able to easily one-shot other characters, maybe other two Evas, with low difficulty. I actually see that Eva Godzilla should have the stronger atomic breath, and the point goes to him. Now we have hacks. Well, for our guy, okay, Godzilla, his hacks is his regen. Eva Godzilla, his hack is basically to go into different forms, and also he just does a lot. Able to fire the atomic pulse, to change the color of the pulse to make it more powerful. Able to endure fights longer, and even though the regen might be a problem for Eva Godzilla, I still think that he does have slightly better hacks because all LK has is just the regen. Now, X Factor. LK Godzilla's X Factor is being able to easily regenerate, and also just the more he fights, the stronger he's going to get. And he never backs down. He's also able to absorb energy. While for Eva Godzilla, he's a tank. He keeps going. His beams are extremely powerful. He's able to fight for hours without getting tired. Hours and hours and hours. He's also able to make himself more powerful when the time is needed. He's able to also dish out a ton of damage, and basically is able to fight really well when he's getting jumped too. I think X Factor should go to LK Godzilla. He just has a more useful one. Size and weight. How tall is LK Godzilla? He's 393 feet tall, same weight as Monster vs. Godzilla. It's the same metrics. So does Eva Godzilla. For this one's a tie. They both tie in size and weight. Now, overall, let's see who wins. I will count up the tallies now. Okay, Godzilla. Let's start with him. Now, we end off with LK Godzilla scoring 11 points and Eva Godzilla only scoring 10. Wait. That possible, right? LK Godzilla barely gets to multiversal or universal if you don't count the feat that the Greenverse is the size of a multiverse. Which I didn't say obviously, I didn't make statements for this yet. But when I talked to my friends, when I made this comic a while ago, 2021, 2020, 2019, 2021, 2022, you got the Greenverse is the size of a multiverse. Or it's the size of a gas giant like Saturn. And if you take those statements, then other celestial bodies will also be that size. But still, Eva Godzilla, I would have to win anyway. Eva Godzilla would have to win anyway? Why? Why did I say this one twice? But there is a reason. Even if you're very generous and give Eva Godzilla those statements I talked about before, it still won't work. Eva Godzilla is above multiversal. He is literally able to tank his own attack, which reverts him back to base form, which had the ability to destroy the Hyperverse, the Godzillaverse itself, but did not really destroy heaven, hell, but basically almost the entire Godzillaverse, excluding the Omniverse and maybe heaven, hell, and the void, but the Hyperverse, the Outerverse, everything else. And if you go with that, Eva Godzilla should be able to win based on statements. He might not really be able to kill LK Godzilla easy because of the regeneration, but this part didn't really record, so I'm just going to re-record it really quick. But Eva Godzilla has better durability and power, and since even if you were generous and used the multiversal counts for LK Godzilla, it's not gonna help. What is someone who's hyperversal and basically almost destroyed the Godzilla verse, almost completely destroyed it, just by casually fighting in base form. It's not just destroying it, but it was able to tank the explosion that destroyed everything back in his base form. That is crazy. And the durability gap is just way too much. Even though Eva Godzilla will have a problem with the regen, LK Godzilla just won't be able to do enough damage. He won't be able to do it. There's just no way that LK Godzilla is going to kill Eva Godzilla. I don't see it, or damage him enough to get him the retreat. LK Godzilla would eventually lose. Eva Godzilla would win by physically overpowering him and basically just showing how much power he has, and also just overwhelming him. He might not be able to kill him, he'll overwhelm him. So the winner of this is Eva Godzilla, mostly due to his durability. Eva Godzilla wins mid to high diff. And remember, this is base to base, which is absolutely insane. So in this fight, Eva Godzilla in base form beats LK Godzilla mid to high diff, basically because of the regen. And, well, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and tell me in the comments which ones you want to see next. Who's the next character you want me to cover in the Battle Breakdown Arena? Thank you for watching, and peace.